Attention, never make video while you're sick. Does not come out good.
Never make a video when you're sick. It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. All right, so today's video is full of crap. So here's a few of the things that we're going to talk about in today's video. We're going to make a tapered leg for the front leg of the chair. Then we're going to add all the cleats to the chair. We're using Domino's. We're going to learn how to put the curve backs on the upper part of the chair, and I'm going to show you how I go about chopping them and fitting them, all that. We're going to go through some finishing, post-assembly, which is assembling everything after it's been finished and gluing everything up. Trying to make sense of a damn video when you're as sick as I was is kind of a hard thing to do. So I apologize for the length, which is over 40 minutes long, I know. We'll put chapters in here so you can skip around and see whatever the hell you want. Hopefully this will help other people who have never built anything before, because I had no idea what the hell I was doing when I started this. I just started turning on the camera and went, and yeah, let's get to it, because this is a long one. You know, if you're having a hard time sleeping at night, just put this video on, and the 40 minutes, I guarantee you'll be asleep by the end. I'm telling you, you never know. I have one of those voices that just puts people to sleep. Go to sleep. I should have my own ASMR video. Here, listen. I just, my fingers rubbing together. How's that sound? All right, let's get to the video. So I think what we're gonna do is try to make chamfered legs, kind of like we did with the table. And I'm gonna cut 4 legs. Actually, I'm gonna cut 5 legs if I can, because I'm gonna practice with one of them. And we're gonna try to get some kind of chamfer on there so it kind of matches those table legs. Here we go. All right, we have all these cut. We got one to practice with, and we're gonna figure all the rest of this out. All right, so you can see I kind of drew on here what I wanted to do in the first place. And we have the seat here, and the legs go in here. I think the seat is 11 inches, 12. That means that these little cleats right here in the back will be 9 inches. The ones in the front are gonna be a little different because the legs are this thick. Sorry if I'm bouncing around. I'm thinking about 4 things at once here. All right, so now we're gonna figure out the front legs. So we have 0 here, and we're gonna go to 11. So the outside, it goes from 0 to 11. I'm gonna use this square here because I can actually read that. Yeah, 8 1/8. All right, so we have the top one, and we have the one in the back. One is 9, one is 8 1/8. Okay, and well, when we go to chamfer this, we're gonna, I don't know how we're gonna chamfer it. We're gonna do it like we did the other one, but am I gonna make it angled like I did the other one? That would super complicate things now, wouldn't it? Yeah, leave it up to me to do something stupid like that, wouldn't it? Shish kebabs. Kevin's ADHD's kicking in. I just wanna see what a beveled leg would look like in my head. I'm gonna try to figure out how to reuse that jig.
Really?
Or I'll just make a new one. It's very simple. I can actually just use this. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna use this piece right here. Okay, everybody, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a tapered jig lickety split. We're gonna put some of the melamine glue in here. Just push that there. And I nailed it to the piece of wood. Take 6. All right, we're gonna have to start over. You gotta be careful. Shooting 1/2 inches, kind of dangerous here. Keep your fingers out of the damn way. Nails and MDF, it's already split the side. Hopefully that'll hold. Okay, we have the mark up here. That's where the rail's gonna go in. We have our 1/4 inch pencil mark right there. What I'm gonna do now is just tag a couple pieces of wood back here. Got this skinny little piece of wood here. Take this piece of molding, I'm just gonna cut it down a little bit. Now we're just gonna grind this piece off. I'm just gonna edge sand it off, be right back. I'm just gonna put a couple of nails in here. Squeaker says it helps to clamp everything up. That way you don't get any bounce back. We have just an old piece of molding on there. We got that lined up there. And I'm gonna take you and flip you over on the table saw and let's see how it works. Squeaker said it should work okay. So we got nothing to worry about. Okay, so here's the setup. And hopefully we're just tapering from here to somewhere in here, and hopefully all that works. A lot of hopefullys going on, isn't it? Sheesh, we gotta be careful of our fingers in that blade because it's up there, boy. From time to time. Here's what we have to do. I know this sounds weird, but we're gonna have to add a piece of 1/4 inch in here to cut this at a 1/4 inch and then this at a 1/4 inch. Squeaker says that works, and that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna cut this down a little bit. Okay, a little piece of double stick tape on there. I forgot to do one thing. You know what I forgot to do? So I put a block here, but we didn't put a block down there. Dummy. Yeah, Squeaker said I'm a dummy too. Hold on, I gotta cut another piece. Okay, to keep it from being a trapezoid and stupid looking like it is right now, you see how it cut on an angle there? And it didn't over here so much. This one is more drastic. These two are wacky because it needs a double. It needs a quarter and a quarter there. I'm sure there's some super genius out there going, you knucklehead, you're just dumb. You don't know what you're doing. Yeah, I know. Whatever. So now we have a 1/4 inch block here and here. So this can actually rest on it. This should clean up that little bit of out of squareness. We'll see how it works. That thing's a screamer. Well, that's a screaming blade, isn't it? But now it's more square, right? You see that? Is this and this the same width? So these two are just about the same thickness. I'm gonna pull these little pieces out of here. I'm gonna cut all 4 of these and we'll time lapse the whole thing. So I have my saw set back just about a 1/16 more so I can join these off. I have X's on 2 sides and O's on 2 sides. And we're gonna cut the X's first and then we're gonna cut the O's. We're just gonna cut until we're done. All right, enjoy the music. Now we have to figure out this little angle here. The framing square is down here. I got the back leg against the framing square. I drew a line at 9 inches or 9 3/8, whatever this is. I guess it's 9 3/8. So we have these 1.5 inch cleats here that we're gonna set on the top of that line. We're gonna measure from here to here, 7 15/16. I'm gonna rip this on the table saw right here, and then we're gonna set it in here, and then we're gonna scribe that in there, and we'll figure out the angle. All right, so I'm gonna set this in place here. I'm gonna butt that up against there. That's square. That looks perfect, just like that. This is square to the bottom. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna figure out what that angle is using my chop saw. You can do it other ways, I'm sure, but I'm lazy. And 2.5 degrees looks wonderful. So I'm just cutting that 2.5 degree mark on all of these. Okay, and the side that we cut with the angle, we're gonna put a little square around it. Just a symbol that I know, okay, that I don't cut. So they're all angled the same way. And then we're gonna measure over and cut this. All right, we have all 4 of the pieces. They're cut exactly the same. I'm gonna put a little X on the top so I know which way is up. Then what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to do the lower section, but I have to figure out the angle of the dangle. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm just looking down, straight down the molding. I'm just gonna put that angle on it, and then we're gonna find it over here. It looks like 4 degrees, but I don't know. It's almost the same. This one's like 3 degrees, the other one's like 2.5. I'd say that looks pretty damn good. Okay, we're holding that in place. We're doing the same thing with this guy right here, lining it up, eyeballing it straight down. And this one's gonna be the opposite direction. It looks like that'll work. This side, pushed up against here, looks great. This side looks pretty good. So I'm gonna stay here and I'm just gonna cut a little more off. All right, I'm just gonna work my way until I get it. I think I got it. All right, so let me take a picture of it, show you what it looks like. Okay, so you've seen that. Now we're gonna take all these little blocks out. It actually looks pretty damn good. I'm giving you all my secrets here. There it is. I don't know how it worked out like that, but magic, I guess. Woodworking magic. All right, we're back. Okay, now we got to figure out, using the old Domino machine here, what we're gonna do next. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do all the ends of the back leg first, and then we're gonna flip it over and do all of the front part of the leg second, because they're all different, right? Every damn one's different. This one's tapered, so does that mean that this is gonna be on a slight angle, and then this one won't work because this one's flat and this one's not? Huh. All these things to think about. Man. I'm gonna figure this out, and then I'll flip it back on when I got it sort of figured out, and we'll go from there. So this is my practice leg. The top one I got right off the bat. It seemed to work out well. Number 36 on the height for the Domino worked perfect. It was right in the dead center. And then I made the mistake of doing the same thing down here. Not once, not twice. 3 times I've tried to figure it out with different sizes here, but that didn't work. So what I had to use is this 1 inch thick block, and it worked. I got it as close to the center as I can. Here's the other thing though. It's on an angle. Remember what I said about being on an angle? Well, it's on an angle. And now we're going to start buzzing all our parts. All right, so I got it kind of figured out right there. That's how we're gonna domino it together. I have 2 squares set for where the dominoes go, so every single leg will be in the same spot from the bottom up. And then we're gonna figure out how to put this one in. Oh boy. If they all butt into this, and this is square in there, and this comes down to here, then everything should be flat, right? Ugh. Good golly. There it is. There's not much room in these things at all. Oh. I won't even need glue. Look at that. There it is. You definitely know if you got it going the wrong direction because it don't look right. Now we have to do, these. So let me try this. I'm just gonna put a pencil mark and see if it lines up and looks right. Oh, I think that'll work. Oh man, here we go. Well, wish me luck. See what happens before I go on with anything else. That's flush. There's one of them. All right, I guess we're just gonna buzz all the rest of them and hope they all turn out the same. What we're gonna do is find the ones that match the best together and we'll put them together. You know, not everything's perfect, especially me. Never made a chair before, I don't think. Pretty sure. Square thing on the ground thing, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. They're within like a 32nd of an inch. Cool. Look, Charlotte, your chair's almost done. And we can make it a folding chair, so we can fold it out and make a chair and fold it in, and you can put it away. I'm gonna try and put these little rails in here. You know what I mean, the back rails. This one goes back here. Get down where you need to be, you dummy. We'd have to make sure everything was square together, right? I got a square for every day of the week. All right, that looks square. Okay. Okay, so that is 11, which is perfect. And this is 11. Ta-da! And then we have to figure out these guys. So we're gonna have one up here and then one down here. And Charlotte's chair will almost be done except for the seat part. Here's the bottom. It's gonna go this way with the stripe going that way. In case she poops on the chair, you won't know. It can happen, you know. She's not even 2 yet. You never know. I wish all chairs came that way. I'd be safe. Oh no, here I go again. It's very dusty in here. I've been sneezing all day. Hello, I am back. I already have my tape with the center line marked on it, and I'm just gonna mark that across these legs. I'm gonna do the same with the back leg back here. I try to do the simplest things as possible because I don't like to think that much. So hopefully I got this correct, and we're going to zip-zop this thing right here. Well, the dominoes, if I haven't said already, are 5x30s. Oh my gosh, it's stiff as a board. There it is. Okay, that part's good. I'm gonna do the other legs the same way, and I think the back's gonna be a little bit different. All right, this says back leg, top hole. I think we can use this same measurement here for this back one since they're both the same width. Here's my 1-inch block. All right, I'm gonna buzz this at 28 and we'll just see what it does. $28 seemed to do good. I'm gonna buzz this at 28. I'm gonna glue this whole thing up in one shot, but I'm gonna try. Look at all the damn clamps. How do I tell if it's freaking square or not? Does it matter? I mean, it'd be cool if it was square. This is good practice for seeing how to glue things up also as well. Gluing this whole thing up in one shot might be the wrong thing to do. Let me try something else here. So we tried the 9 million clamp technique. I'm gonna try a band clamp next. So if you wanna hold things in place, and you don't want your band clamps to fall, spring clamps are very handy dandy. All right, put my little block of wood in there. This should help hold it, should help square it up a little bit too. See, that looks way better. Shazam. All right, that instantly made all the joints look better. That's on there flat. How about that? So when that doesn't wiggle, I have to remember that. Feels pretty good. I can run band clamps front to back by themselves. We could try it. Shall we try it? Okay. Just remember, we want to keep these twist free. If they're twisted, put a twist in it and up here and pull through. That straightens them out. I think we're going to do it this way. Put the shim right under there so I don't scratch the crap out of it. That looks good. This one's still a little crooked. That might have been my trapezoidal leg a little bit. The Domino should hold it pretty well. It's very flexible. Check this out. See that? Maybe it's because I don't have this one wrapped. Let me wrap that one first. So if you don't have them all wrapped the same, there's not equal pressure everywhere. Somewhere it's got to give. And if it gives and that's the problem, then that's fine. Don't try to fix something that's not broke yet. It might be broke, but if it's, just the fact that you forgot to clamp this one up yet, and you're going, why is this out of square? Because you haven't clamped this one up yet, you might be saving yourself a lot of time and headache trying to figure something out that ain't broke. That's a Kevinism, Tippinism. Can you pull corners on something so wacky? 16 and 3/8. So it just needs to do that, and it totally wants to do that. Furniture. Yeah. I could build you stairs. I could build you cabinets. I could build you just about anything except a chair. Poop. I'm going to figure this out, and I'll tell you what the problem is when I figure it out. Okay, we had it figured out. I had to cut off this much. Oh my goodness. I had to cut that much off. This front rail's 8 1/8, and the difference between that and this one is the 1/4 inch for the shoulder right here. And that made this piece back here 8 5/8. And I had it at 9 1/8. I don't know why. I thought I could splay it out somehow and it'd be fine. I look real professional, don't I? Band clamps exert a lot of pressure, man, I'm telling you. Look at the tentacles. It's like a man of war floating around in the ocean. Let's try to pull corners and see what that does. 16 where it was before. 16 and a 16th. Yeah, and that could be just anything. Well, there it is. Now we have to figure this out. Now we're going to take this guy and we're going to put it back here. I'll try using spring clamps just to see what happens here. Once you get both of them on there, then you should be good. Getting them on there is the hard part. This is a 0.7 pencil, and I'm going to go inside the roundover. I'm going to put a line. Hopefully it'll give me enough room to figure out the right angle of the dangle. I think I'm going to mark them down here also as well. So with all those lines on it, I should be able to tell when I set it on the chop saw what the angle should be when I'm cutting it. And hopefully we don't get it short, because if we shorten that, we got to shorten all the other crap in here. And I don't want to do that. I think I can just raise this end up when I cut it. I'm looking at the angle. I'm looking at this angle here when I'm cutting it on the chop saw. I'll take a picture of it with my phone. I know it's not very scientific. It's just, it is what it is, right? I'll take some shims, stick them under here, kind of help hold it up so it doesn't move. Bumping it over about 1/2 degree because it looks like it needs that. I'm not 100% sure on that, and here we go. And whatever I do to this one, we're gonna do to this one down here once I sort of get this one figured out. This says I'm out of the line by about 1/8 inch. Now I'm gonna cut this side, do the same damn thing. I'm gonna put this little shim over here, just eyeball it. All right, that's really too wide. That looks parallel and nice. This one looks a little strange. That almost goes in there pretty damn good. So I think I have to put a slight angle to the bottom. Okay, so we slide it down to the lines. Hold that in place, put the triangle underneath there. I have to cut more off of this side here. Come to the inside just slightly. Okay, so that looks good. Now I'm gonna cut it this way. It's too open in the front. All right, here we go. That's pretty damn good. So when we go to domino this, I'm gonna domino off this side, so this will actually be follow this curve here. It's tight on the back, it's tight in the front. All right, now we're gonna do this side. So this is the same as that side. So hopefully I can just cut this. I'm just putting one on top of the other, and I'm just using the piece itself. I'm just using this piece, whatever that angle is there, to set this blade up, whether I have to lift it this way or angle it this way with the miter gauge. We're just gonna sneak in till we almost get it. Just gonna have 3/4 of an inch of space in there between bars. All right, we have a line. We're gonna try to fit this guy into there. We have the angle right, we just need to cut off just a little more. Here's where the dance comes in play. we gotta try to get everything copacetic and happy with where it's gonna be. It just needs a little off the top here. I'm trying to use my chop saw and not go over and use the disc sander, because a lot of people don't have disc sanders, you know what I'm saying? And that would be the proper tool to use right here. We'll just disc sand it till it fit, because it's easier to control. But you know, a lot of people don't have disc sanders, so we're just chasing things now. Hear that? Just a little bit. So now I gotta just cut this down just enough, just so everything's snug as a bug in a rug. Hold that into place. Oh yeah, that's it. See if it'll stay there by itself, that's good. All right, there we go. There's the back. Okay, now that it's just sitting here, just like that, I'm gonna tape these off, leave them in place, and I'm gonna mark them, and then I'm gonna zip zop them, and we'll stick them together and see if it works. Am I gonna have to take this whole thing apart to zip it? Yeah, probably so. Damn it all, Jim. I still have one more of these to do. Well, at least I'll know the order and how everything goes. This is my first chair I think I've ever built. That's a real chair. Built just about everything you can think about building. Never built a chair. This first one. Charlotte's chair, baby. Side looks like. That's kind of cool looking, isn't it? It's domination. That's pretty much in a straight line the whole way through. And it's a little curve for her little back. And once I get this one done, at least I'll know how to do the other one. I'm losing more hair by the minute. All that thinking's just burning the hair right off the top of my head. Yeah, all right, I'm gonna finish that one up and I'll see you guys in a couple hours probably. All right, everybody, check it out. The bones of the chairs are done. Now I gotta figure out two things. The bottom here, which I should probably do now while it's clamped up, and we'll make a little template. And the other thing we need to do is put angle brackets in here, but I can't do that until I glue the whole thing up. And another thing I have to do is spray these with finish. I don't know if you've ever sprayed finish on something like this. There's so many nooks and crannies and so many ways to flip it around that it never comes out right and it always drips everywhere. So if you don't want to overspray and drips, the only way I know how to finish something like this is to, drum roll please, I'm gonna pre-finish all the parts and then glue it up.
Really?
Well, all right, not all of it. So I'm gonna glue this section up here, and this section up over here, and I'm gonna leave these rails and backs out. And that way it'll make it easier for me to spray. It's still gonna be a pain in the butt because these are visible from all directions. Probably put a little hole at the bottom, hang it upside down and spray it that way, or attach it to a stick so I can spray it in all different directions and hang it somewhere so it can dry that way. And that way I can get in all the little nooks and crannies and spray everything, because if you build it and you can't finish it, yeah, what's the point? So I think what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna make a template for this. I'm gonna lay that template on both of them, make sure it works. And once it works, we're gonna cut it out on this, my glue up. I got my gigantic fly swatter. We're gonna make it out of this piece right here. So I'm gonna go find a piece of 1/4 inch and I'll be right back. All right. Template that we're going to use to cut out on that. All right. I'm going to put this down here, and then we're just going to trace it out. We don't want to get that racing stripe in the center. So we don't want to get that off-centered. So we got to make sure this is kind of centered in there before we trace that out. And that's what we're going to do. See how that comes out. It's pretty close. We'll just sand that up with by hand. That way the inside's nice and clean. All the radiuses are done. All we have to do is go around on the edge sander. So we're gonna do the end grain first. Then we'll do the side grain. And then we're just gonna try to, we're just gonna round this over a little bit. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna hold it down like this. I'm gonna come across. I'm using my finger like a fulcrum center. And it helps control how you're going around in circles. Here we go. All right, so when your edge sanding radius is on there, you want to go against the belt. So the belt's going this way, and I'm cutting this way. You don't want to start here and turn into the way the belt's spinning because it'll flip around and get you. All right, here we go. And there it is. I'm gonna round these edges over a little bit, hand sand all of this. Squeaker says we're getting close to being done. And thanks for watching. There it is. The little seats are on the little chairs, and they got the racing stripes, which will match the table. I'm going to round this over using this old crappy Porter cable with an 1/8 inch round over bit. I'm actually going to break these edges and round all this over. I know it'll collect crumbs and dirt in the corner, but whatever. Maestro, play the music. All right, there they are. Very cool. All right, so I'm just gonna finish sanding these up real quick. And we're gonna take this apart and we're gonna glue up all 4 of these sides. We're getting there. Getting there. Got our Type On 3 waterproof glue. It's the ultimate wood glue. I say that every time. I don't know. We can take our little, our itty bitty brush and we're gonna douse it in the glue. All right, I'm gonna take and then we're gonna put that right inside there. I'm gonna glue the living snot out of the inside of the domino hole. Try not to get too much glue on the outside because it's gonna splooge out anyway. Okay, we got this guy right here. Paint the bottom, paint all the sides. Now we're gonna put a clamp right dead center between these 2 rails. Try to get them up there even. Okay, I have a little bit of glue coming out. First I'm gonna take the toothpick and just pull that out. Not worried about the bottom so much. You know what I mean? Nobody sees the bottom of a chair. But toothpicks are super pointy, except when you break them. And if it dries for just a few minutes, it congeals, you know, and it gets a little hard. So it just kind of peels right off and you don't spread it everywhere. All right, now that we gave it the once over twice, we're good to go. So these 2 are gonna sit until tomorrow because I want that glue to super dry, and then we're gonna start spraying everything. And the reason I'm gluing these 2 up and not the whole thing is just for spraying. I could spray this much easier when they're in sections, spraying catalyzed lacquer than I can as one big chair when they're like this. We're gonna tape off all the little tiny holes here so we don't get overspray in there. We're gonna tape off the ends of the end grain for the other rails. And then we're just gonna spray everything and then assemble it and glue it together just like I just did here. Just all the rails are gonna be glued up, the front and back rails. Hey everybody, it's finishing day. Oh boy. Today we get to finish all the parts I've made over the last 3 or 4 days. I've taped off all the little holes for every domino. All these little parts here have been taped up also. So everything's ready to go. And these right here are how I'm going to spray these. I'm going to drill a little tiny hole in the bottom of each one of these. I'm going to string something across here, and I'm going to hang them, and then I'm going to flip it over and shoot the other side, and then I'm going to take it and hang it over there, because I got a chain sitting over there with a wire in between each one, and I'm just going to hang every single one of these up and let them dry like that. We'll see how it works. If it doesn't work, then I'm going to go back to two-side shooting, which is lay one down, shoot one side, let it dry, flip it over, and shoot it again. Hopefully it works. I don't know. We'll give it a shot and see what happens. So I got to go find something to hang in here. I'm using 2 wood jaw clamps and clamped it down to the table. Hopefully that'll hold it. Once I get all this figured out, I'll turn you back on. So here we go. I got 20-pound test up here. Put a couple screws in there just to hold the line in. I've got a bunch of these little tiny brass hooks that I bought a million years ago. I drilled some holes in the bottom, and what we're going to do is we're going to try to shoot them like this. I don't know if this is going to work or not. I have a feeling it's going to blow all over the place because, 20-pound test, and it's just going to do that. We're spraying Catalyzed lacquer today, semi-gloss 35 sheen. All right, we're also going to use these little breakdown stands that I have right here that I just dadoed on the table saw. I use them all the time for spraying. As you can tell, they're all different colors. I got some tape on there so everything stays nice and clean. I'll show you how to make these in an upcoming video. So we're going to use the Binks M1G today. It's my Catalyzed lacquer gun. So I'm going to fill this up, get ready, and away we go. All right, here we go. I'm just going to start doing the tops of everything. We're going to do the seats next because they're two-sided, and then we're going to do all the other two-sided stuff. So we'll speed this up, put some music to it. All right, here we go. Now we have to spray the table legs and the apron. This might be in the way. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. We're going to give it a shot. Upside down, around, do the inside, flip it over, do the outside. That's the way I'm going to do it. I don't know if that's right or not, but... All right, there we go. So I'm gonna let this stuff dry for a little bit. I'm gonna shut all these things off here. All right, boy, that stinks. Yeah, Catalyzed lacquer, it's a stinker. Everything's got a seal coat on it. I gotta do all the two-sided stuff next. As soon as it dries, I'm gonna flip it over and spray it again. I'm getting high out the fumes, I'm fuming pretty good. All right, everything has been sealed once. So I'm gonna go ahead and sand all the little leg parts here with a 320, and then we're gonna wipe it down with the gray Scotch-Brite pad. And then we're going to spray them again. And we're going to spray them again, and then we're done. Everybody, check it out. It's finished. We sprayed them with finish, the crazy way of hanging them upside down and spraying them, and they're bouncing all over the place. It didn't come out too bad. There's no drips, no runs, no errors. So now we're going to glue these together. And I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to screw the top to this and flip this upside down. And we're going to go ahead and screw the base onto here like this. What I have to do now is figure out what side is what. There we go. Everything just lined up, just like that. Boom. First thing I'm going to do, though, is I'm gonna fill all these holes with a little bit of glue. I'm like, why the hell would you do that? Well, I'm gonna just screw this in by hand. So if I put a little bit of glue in each screw hole, that screw will go in there, the glue will dry, and it'll have a little bit more oomph, sticking power. I know people think, oh, you're just weird. Yeah, maybe. But I know this works and I've done it before and it really helps. Here's the top, here's the legs. Ain't it pretty? Here's that knot that we fixed right here. Yeah, it looks good. All right, so there's that. All right, for this job, we're gonna use my favorite tool ever. I'm gonna pull all the tape off all these legs and all the parts, and I'll figure out where they go, and I'll flip you back on, and we'll glue it up. All right, everybody, here we go. Hee-hee. Okay, so we're gonna load the domino hole up. So it's all white on the inside. And then we're gonna put a lot on the bottom and a little bit on the sides. When we glue these up, it's already finished, so we can wipe it off easier, but I still don't want it splooging all over the place. You can see that, it's a mess. Okay, I don't want to damage too much stuff, so I'm going to clamp this with one of these. I don't want to beat it on it too hard, so what we're going to do is just clamp it in place. All right. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just clamping these all together. I want to make sure I get everything flush, and I want to make sure I get the back. If it needs to come up, I'm going to do that using that guy, I guess. And it looks good. You can see I got glue coming out all over the damn place. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, glue removal. So we have our glue removal brush, which is a cut-off acid brush. I was talking to somebody in the comments, and they were like, hey, you should try this. And I'm like, I do that all the time. I've been doing this for years. Cut the acid brush almost a little less than half, so there's like 40% left maybe. And sometimes I put a chisel tip on it, like a little point, but I just use a dry brush to get the glue out. All right, so we're going to leave this in clamps for a couple hours, maybe all day, I don't know. I'm going to make some cleats that'll actually fit in here. Yeah, fit in here so I could hold down the seats. There's one. All right, there we go. 12:24, so it took 14 minutes. 14 minutes to glue that up. Okay, so we've taken off the clamps and put the band clamps on there. I got 2 pieces of scrap that I'm going to use for cleats. So I'm going to take these and I'm going to put them across here, and we're going to pocket screw it to these rails up here. The front one I'm going to actually fit in around this right here. And we're going to drill a 1/4 inch hole through it. Use these washers right here with an 1.5 inch screw and put them in there. We have to hold down these cleats like 1/8 inch so I don't put the screw right through the top of the seat. So here we go. There it is. The chairs are done. So here we go, everybody. Charlotte's table and 2 chairs. Yeah, that was fun to do. It was really fun to do. I don't know if I'd want to make tables and chairs for a living, but yeah, once is fun. I might do it again someday. Things kind of changed when I was doing this. I was expecting this to be more walnutty than the way it is now, but just using the walnut as an accent stripe on the apron here, down the middle, and on the 2 chairs, it kind of ties it together, I guess, a little bit. It was going to be square at one time, and then I cut the ends off because I wanted this to kind of match these legs here. And then I was going to do that to these guys up here in the front, and then I decided, nah, it's too complicated, too much to do, so I just tapered them. The reason I made this, the whole reason I made this, because I wanted to build something for my granddaughter like my grandpa built me. This is in my shop. This little tiny green boat used to have a sail on it. It's got a rudder that works. It's got a steel keel on the bottom with lead. I used to float this around the lake near my grandparents' house. Every time I was there at their house, which is pretty much every day, we'd go out and float that thing around. That's why there's nothing left on it, because it all broke. I'm rough on everything. I've been breaking stuff since I was a little kid. But my grandpa made that for me when I was, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old. And he passed away when I was 6. And I can still look at this to this day, 50 some odd years later, and still think of that time and how fun it was. And that's what I want for Charlotte. When she sees this table, even if she doesn't understand it for, I don't know, 10 years, if it's still around, her Pop made her something that he put his heart and soul into to make for her and her alone. And I've been doing it slowly for the last couple of days while I'm drawing other projects, but it's done now. Here we go. Cherry, Peruvian walnut, and regular walnut. We used a pile of little tiny jigs right here. That's the jig we use for the legs for the chairs. And this is the jig we use for the legs of the table, which were 45 and tapered. Use that little tracing jig right there for the backs that are right here. This is the leg. We use this for a tracing jig for the chair bottoms, and then we drew everything out just like we wanted it on a hunk of MDF. All right, everybody. Well, thank you everybody who subscribed and liked the channel and comments. I like talking to everybody out there, so if you want to ask me a question, just comment below or email me. It's in the description down there somewhere, I think. You have an awesome day. Go outside and play. Hug somebody you love. Be safe out there, and I'll see you next time right here on Woodworking with Mr. Kevin. That's me. Happy New Year. Whee!
Subscribe now.
Poop stain. There's a lot to think about all at the same time. It's giving me a headache. My ADHD, it does these things. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember. We're just winging it as we go. Figure it out, and I figured it out. I did. I done figured it out. You want to know how? Freestyles. We're gonna freestyle. It's like when you piss off the cliff like this. Because you can. Freestyling. I'm just kidding. I only did that a bunch when I was younger. Yesterday. Yeah, I gotta take a picture.
Note to self, do not make video while you're sick. It's a bad idea.